Hey all, it's David Ducker coming back at you, and today we're going to be talking about villain archetypes, the trickster. Um, Also, this could be like the rogue or the cheater, perhaps. But the trickster can be a really great archetype to use in the game. So we've already discussed the juggernaut, how he got overwhelming force. We discussed the mastermind, how he's smarter than everybody else. We discussed arrogance and how they are the man that you love to hate. And the trickster is another character. Now he can overlap easily with arrogance or with the mastermind, but basically the trickster cheats to win, lie, cheat, steal. Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. So the trickster is a really fun character because he's not big and strong like the brute. He's not long-term planning like the mastermind, but he's got this low cunning, this tactical acumen, where when he gets in a fight, he's gonna kick you in the balls and poke you in the eye. He's gonna fish hook your mouth and rip your cheek open. He's gonna bite your ear off, or he'll twist your ear off with his hand and he'll bite your nose off. If he's gonna break all the rules of combat, he'll throw sand in your eyes. If you're in a bar fight, he's the first guy reaching for the bottle off the table. He'll bottle you with. So he's really good at using his environment to his advantage as well. So if there's a cliff, he's the guy gonna push you towards the cliff as he's swinging his sword and pushing you towards the cliff so you'll fall off. Or if there's a monster, he's going to be fighting you and directing your back towards the monster. He uses flanking attacks, sneak attacks, poison, invisibility, stealth. The con artistry of having to disguise and tricking you into thinking he's someone else. So a doppelganger works great if you're doing space opera. This can be a man with a hologram disguise belt. Or invisibility mesh like the Predator from Predator. So this can be a lot of fun because he opens up so many options and archetypes. So you could break it down into a couple areas. There's the con man who's going to lie to you. He's really good with disguises, perhaps enchantment magic or psychic enchantments. Empathy. So he's the guy who could come in and you don't even know if he's a bad guy for 4 sessions, 8 sessions. You think he's your best friend. He's going to stab you in the back. So you get this great betrayal storyline. He's laughing at you for being a sucker, for thinking that he cared about you. This could even be a seducer as well. So he could come in and, you think that this is your paramour. Like you get married one day. And then he betrays you, stabs you in the back. Over what? Over money? Really? Over power? Does that compare to the power of love? Probably not. So you can have that great con man archetype with disguises, with lies, with deceit. Then you get the cat burglar archetype, who's going to come in with stealth and steal your possessions. You're definitely going to win this duel because you have a magic sword. Your opponent doesn't have a magic sword. All you need to do, set the sword down with your other armor, turn around, and you're taking your bath, you're doing your hair up, looking fly, and you're like, all right, I'm all set for this battle. And you turn back around, and your sword is gone, and you're like, oh my god, my magic sword! I bought that from a magic item shop. Or perhaps you got it in a more interesting way. God, I hope so. Perhaps I got that sword from a dragon horde, or that's my father's sword, or whatever it is. The trickster has stolen it from you. He snuck in your tent. You might have saw him in the mirror if you made your spot check, son. But he stole your magic sword, and it's his now. He's picking his teeth with it. He's scraping the shit off his boot with your magic sword. So So you get the cat burglar coming in, stealing possessions, planting false evidence against you as well. Great character for that. Or even just stealing intelligence. He could steal your battle plan before a big mass combat, and that is bad times. So you got the con artist, you got the cat burglar. Then you can come in with the safe cracker. Now this usually overlaps a little with the cat burglar. The safe cracker is a guy who it's usually better for the players to try to go to him. So this is a guy who's got all of his magic sword that you need to steal. It's locked in an enormous vault. His battle plan is in this little coffer, so you might steal the coffer. Good luck getting inside it. It's made out of adamantine, and it's got like a Rubik's Cube to try to open it, let alone try to pick the lock. This is a guy who, if you try to go into his lair, there's traps everywhere. Traps. So the safecracker, or the technical rogue, is a guy who it's better for the PCs to go to, which means that his strategy is usually going to be to retreat. So he's going to do whatever dirty deed he needs to do, probably done dirt cheap, and head back to his lair, which is covered in traps and which is locked up, locked up like a honeypot. Like, you can't get in there. So that can turn your, that's a great villain for a party of rogues or a thieves guild, Robin Hood type characters, the Saint, Arsène Lupin. This is a great villain to throw at those guys. And then the last kind of trickster archetype is the assassin. So he can combine elements of the others, but what sets him apart is they're all essentially non-combatant. So the con man is not going to fight you directly. He might get someone else to fight you. He'd love to do that, but he won't fight you because he'll lose. The cat burglar might sneak into your bedside, and he might be standing over your pillow, stealing the dagger, the magic dagger from under your pillow, but he's not going to stab you with it. Maybe he has a code of honor. The safecracker, his traps might kill you. Oh yes, they might, but he won't kill you himself. He's just because he can't. He'll lose. He could be a weak, frail old man and still be a viable threat because of his trap expertise. Now the assassin, that's the guy who will kill you himself. This is the guy who, when you're fighting, like I said, he's going to kick you in the balls. He's going to attack your face. He's going to find the chinks in your armor. He's going to use the environment against you. And he could also overlap with any of those other trickster archetypes as well. So he could come in and seduce you, and then when you have this loving embrace going on, he just slips his arm around you and he locks in the arm triangle choke, and he squeezes the life out of you. This is the guy who sneaks into your room with the cat burglar skill set, and then he does kill you. He stabs you while you're sleeping, no armor on. This is a guy who in combat is going to have that tricky, deceptive style. So he's not stronger than you. He's probably not even more skilled than you in a technical sense. But he's a combat pragmatist. So, while you're fighting, he's the guy who's going to be dirty and kicking and tripping and shield bashing. And if he's got a free hand, he's going to be just grabbing you. Like, he grabs your cape and tries to throw it over your own head so you can't see. Like I said, throwing dirt. If he's got some kind of smoke bomb, he's going to be using that. His weapon is probably poisoned. He has a poison sword. So he's not as, it's not as obvious a threat as the brute. The brute usually looks like a brute. The evil mastermind is not going to engage you in frontline combat, but this guy, he's kind of got the best of both worlds. Like Miley Cyrus, the best of both worlds. So that's the trickster archetype. So I just broke it down 4 different ways. So it's probably more complicated and more interesting in a lot of ways than the evil mastermind or the brute or even arrogance. And a lot of these overlap, but this is a great character to bring in. Just because you can bring them in over and over, and it's all different. They're all going to be a little different. Whereas the brute is very archetypal. You only really need like 1 brute. In fact, if you have 2 unstoppable super juggernauts, that's probably too many per campaign. Unless you're going to try to get them to fight like a Godzilla movie. Then it's okay. If you have like 2 masterminds, trying to keep them each unique in style and not overlap too much is going to be a little tough. But again, you know, getting 2 masterminds plotting against each other, oh, so much fun. And then, like, you know, having 2 arrogant characters, that would probably be more than the others too much. You only really need 1 hate sink like that. You have more than that, the players will just start to hate your whole campaign. They'll hate you as a GM, not just your villains. But the trickster is a guy you can have over and over and over and over, and they'll all be different and unique. They won't overlap. They won't step on each other's toes, unless you're playing Pathfinder, because Pathfinder, all of this, they have 1 class to do it in. So you're like, oh man. Like the brute, you could pick any of like 4 or 5 classes. The evil mastermind, I mean, they could be any class at all. The arrogance, they could be any class at all as well. But the trickster, they do need skills, and the only way to get skills in Pathfinder is to play a rogue, and then you have to have sneak attack, and you have to have trap finding. So you have to be both an assassin archetype and a safecracker archetype at the same time, and you can't diverge from it. So I'm just throwing that out for all the Pathfinder fans. Apparently I have a lot of people who play Pathfinder that watch my videos. But if you look at a more well-rounded, balanced system like Warhammer Fantasy, or even come back with like a Warhammer 40k, has a good balance. I'm trying to think of other class systems that have a fair balance. I don't play a lot of class systems. But point by, all day long, you can make each character different and unique. That's the point of point by. Pardon the pun. Or don't pardon the pun. Hit dislike now if you hate puns. But I think that is fun. That is the end of my diatribe about the trickster archetypes. So I'm going to be signing off now. I'd love to hear about your tricksters that you've used. You played the trickster as a player. If you've used the trickster as a GM. Any one of these archetypes, plug it down in the comments below. I will love to read about it. Everybody have a good day now.